Gypsy Jetsetter presents the Travel Wishlist. The ultimate journeys to update your bucket list with. These are the trips of a lifetime. The top 20 totally transformative, life-changing trips. Number 1. Witness the Grand Canyon. A picture may be worth 1,000 words, but seeing the Grand Canyon in real life is sure to leave you speechless. The sheer enormity of this jaw-dropping natural wonder is incomprehensible at a first glance. As you walk around the rim, stopping at various viewpoints, geological history will unfold before your eyes. Take a helicopter tour from Las Vegas and soar above the canyon like a mighty eagle. Or make it even more memorable and take a mule trip down into the canyon on the park's main artery, Bright Angel Trail. This overnight ride, which includes a night at the bottom of the canyon at historic Phantom Ranch, is so popular you'll have to book it at least a year in advance. The animals have the strength of a horse and the sure-footedness of a burro, safely taking over 600,000 visitors through the canyon since 1887. The descent down the trail is 11 miles and will take about 5.5 hours. Once at the ranch, you'll stay in a rustic historic cabin and dine on a hearty meal served family style in the Phantom Ranch dining room. Number 2. Trek to Mount Everest Base Camp. Base Camp. 2 little syllables that conjure up dreams as immense and powerful as the Himalayan mountains themselves. This 15-day trekking tour is your chance to make these dreams come true, to challenge yourself and discover both the majesty of the mountains and your own potential. Walk among giants of nature and revel in the sense of freedom that comes from leaving Wi-Fi and Netflix behind for card games in tiny tea houses, learning about Sherpa life, and watching the sunrise over Everest. Unlike summiting Everest, which, let's face it, is not for everyone, hiking to base camp requires no crampons, ropes, or any technical equipment or skills. But this nearly 2-week trek to the foot of the highest mountain in the world is still a feat in and of itself. Number 3. Observe endemic species in the Galapagos Islands. In the eastern Pacific Ocean, 621 miles off the coast of Ecuador, lies a volcanic archipelago so incredible it inspired Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. Today, the Galapagos Islands continue to draw scientists and wildlife enthusiasts. Where else can you glimpse endemic species like the marine iguana? And now that sea glamping's an option, you can Galapagos in style. Number 4. Go on an African safari. A safari is the epitome of travel goals. Whether you choose the Serengeti, South Africa, or Kenya as the setting for your game drive, expect scenes straight out of National Geographic. Elephants will pause for a thirst-quenching drink at a watering hole while leopards chase gazelles across the savannah, all right before your eyes. An African safari tops many travelers' bucket lists. Seeing incredible wildlife that isn't within the confines of a cage is a truly unforgettable experience. Marvel at some of the most awe-inspiring destinations on the continent, known for magnificent views, exotic wildlife, and lush forested mountains. Number 5. Climb to the Acropolis in Athens. Rising up from the center of Athens is the Acropolis, a fortified limestone plateau that is topped with the Parthenon and several other historical monuments. This is ancient, iconic Greece, the place where philosophers questioned the universe, democracy and freedom of speech were born, and temples were built to honor the gods. The term Acropolis refers to the fortified hill. Sitting on and around this hill are several very important sites. The Parthenon is the most famous, but there is also the Temple of Athena and the Theater of Dionysus. Number 6. Hop on a hot air balloon in Cappadocia. There are many sensational spots for a hot air balloon ride, though few, if any, compared to Cappadocia. Imagine floating over fairy chimneys, pinnacles, hills, valleys, and rock-cut churches. Sounds pretty magical, right? This sort of aerial escapade is bound to shift your perspective on things. The region is famous for its mushroom and ant-hill-shaped towers, as well as its cave cities that were once home to ancient settlers. Experience what it might have been like to live during those times and stay in a cave hotel. The Museum Hotel features converted cave suites filled with artifacts and special finishes like stone fireplaces. Number 7. Hike Machu Picchu. With its famous agricultural terraces and mortar-free construction, it's no wonder Machu Picchu is a must-see for travelers. Though it dates all the way back to the 15th century, the lost city of the Incas remains intriguing as ever. A journey to this mountaintop archaeological site will take your breath away, and not solely because of the altitude. The life-affirming journey on the Inca Trail is talked about so often, it's almost become a cliché, but that does not mean you shouldn't do it. This amazing adventure is truly inspirational, with the groundwork for the Andes-hugging high-altitude trek laid more than 500 years ago. While it's no longer the overgrown lost city that explorer Hiram Bingham discovered a century ago, the reward for your effort, a 4-day, nearly 27-mile hike, is the chance to gaze upon the legendary lost city of the Incas. You'll pass through the Sun Gate in Tipunco at sunrise, after following in the footsteps of the Incas, which were believed to have built the trail as a holy pilgrimage. A hiker's paradise, Machu Picchu's untouched Incan ruins crown a peak in the Andes Mountains. What exactly the strange astronomically aligned structures were used for is still unknown, but adventure tourists head there year-round to tour the mountain and admire the breathtaking views of the Urubamba Valley below. Number 8. Visit an active volcano in Hawaii. Waking up in the wee hours of the AM to watch the sunrise from atop a volcano is one of those distinctly Hawaiian experiences. Stack the deck that you'll see lava by planning a guided trip to Kilauea on the Big Island. Not much of a morning person. Book an after-dark excursion. Number 9. Stand in awe of the Northern Lights. Regardless of your penchant for astronomy or lack thereof, it's impossible not to nerd out over the swirling dance of magenta, violet, and green. Your best bet for viewing the Northern Lights? Travel to the Arctic Circle or hop aboard Alaska Railroad's Aurora winter train between late September and late March. Number 10. Visit Victoria Falls. Located on the border of Zimbabwe and Zambia, this majestic body of water is a sight to behold. Nicknamed the Smoke That Thunders, Victoria Falls is a UNESCO heritage site, and it's been cited as one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. But even more awesome is the Devil's Pool, a natural infinity pool at the fall's edge, the very edge, where daring tourists love to swim. Seeing people jump in so close to where the Zambezi River's water turns down into a 420-foot fall is exhilarating in itself. So if you're not up for the swim, you can always watch from the nearby Victoria Falls Bridge. Number 11. Walk along the Great Wall of China. Sure, you've seen photos of the 13,000-mile Great Wall, which protected dynasties more than 2,000 years ago. But there's nothing quite like walking from watchtower to watchtower on your own 2 feet. To avoid the throngs of tourists, drive about 90 minutes from the city to the restored Mutianyu section. Tours can take you along the remote sections of the Great Wall in neighboring Hebei province, where you'll see the beautiful and majestic ruins of its unrestored sections, along with glimpses of some spectacular brickwork. 12. Explore Egypt's Great Pyramids and take a Nile cruise. Channel your inner Lawrence of Arabia and head into the desert on camelback to see the Great Pyramid of Giza. Built by a 4th dynasty pharaoh in 2560 BC, this 481-foot structure is the oldest and the only remaining wonder of the ancient world. Let that sink in. And while you're there, take a river cruise down the famous Nile River so you can see the Nile Valley's gorgeous landscape as well as stunning ancient Egyptian ruins. You'll get a great view of icons such as the pyramids or the Sphinx as you relax on a felucca, a traditional wooden sailboat. Number 13. Saunter the streets of Paris and the cafes. If there is one city everyone should experience in their lifetime, that would be the fashion capital of the world, the city of lights, the city of love, Paris. Put on your A-line skirt, rock a beret, and gobble all the fresh croissants as you stroll down those marvelous Parisian streets. Paris is one of the most expensive cities in the world, but it doesn't have to be. It's rich in history, nightlife, and gastronomy, and it can all be seen on a budget. The Louvre costs next to nothing and can be seen for free with a student visa. High hostel fees can be avoided if you're willing to become a part of Paris's enormous couchsurfing community. And climbing to the top of the Eiffel Tower is cheap, as well as a breathless feat you will likely never forget. Don't miss the city's ancient catacombs and Père Lachaise Cemetery. Paris's largest burial ground is used more as a park than a cemetery and is the famous resting place of Jim Morrison, Oscar Wilde, and many more notables. #14. 14. Spend a winter holiday in New York. There might not be anything as classic and trip-of-a-lifetime worthy as the winter experiences of New York. Whether you marvel at the Christmas lights around town, the festive storefronts, or you take a horse carriage ride across the most famous park in the world, the holiday season here is as festive as it gets. Watch the tree lighting ceremony at the Rockefeller Center, skate its famous ring, or ring in the new year in an iconic way with the most televised NYE party at Times Square, watching the ball drop as the clock hits midnight. And that's just winter. Every season in New York counts, and the city abounds with landmark buildings, historic attractions, must-see Broadway shows, and phenomenal culinary spots, making it a special place where the bucket list opportunities are around every corner. Number 15. Savor the serenity of Niagara Falls. And if you want to avoid the chaotic New York City crowds, escape to Niagara Falls instead. A trip to the Niagara Falls Observation Tower will give you an unbeatable view of the cascading falls. There are not many places which bring you the awesome power of Mother Nature quite like Niagara Falls can. Every single minute of every single day, 189,600 tons of water flows over the falls. A natural wonder, the falls and the area surrounding them are an overwhelmingly beautiful masterpiece for visitors to see. There are scenic tours which can bring you up close to the falls themselves, which is an attraction that vacationers do not want to miss out on. Open 365 days a year, Niagara Falls State Park has awe-inspiring scenery. It also features thrilling attractions, interactive exhibits, miles of hiking trails, and delectable dining options in a family-friendly environment. It's an adventure-packed experience. 16. Get your sunset sip on in Santorini. You've never really experienced the color blue until you've overlooked the Aegean Sea at sunset while taking in the gorgeousness that is Santorini. What makes the experience that much better is sipping on a glass of the most pristine Assyrtiko this renowned wine region of Greece can offer. 17. Ruins and renewal in Jordan. Jordan is home to some of the most important ruins and religious sites on Earth, as well as featuring Dead Sea healing spas and unforgettable desert landscapes. As the country is fairly compact, it's easy to fit in all of its magnificent experiences in one trip. A stay at the eco-friendly chic Évasion Marine Resort and Spa, adjacent to soothing hot springs that have been in use since the time of King Herod. You can explore Petra's pink-hued ruins, float in the minerals of the Dead Sea, take a camel trek through Lawrence of Arabia's former stomping ground, and even spend the night in a Bedouin tent. Number 18. Party like a rock star in Ibiza. Pretty much any place in Spain is guaranteed to keep club-seeking travelers up until dawn, but Ibiza, one of the country's Mediterranean islands, has taken that phenomenon to a whole new level. From June until October, Ibiza is bustling with European tourists seeking a party and music festival playground. It's still a great destination for almost any tourist. However, with relaxing beaches, upscale bistros, boozy pool parties, and a surprising number of yoga retreats, which make it an ideal spot for millennials. Go in September toward the tail end of peak season to avoid the region's sweltering August weather while still catching end-of-summer celebrations. Number 19. Snorkel, the Great Barrier Reef. Over 2 million people from all around Australia and the globe venture to the Great Barrier Reef in sunny Queensland each and every year, and once you've seen this incredible sight with your own eyes, you will understand why. Not only is the Great Barrier Reef home to some of the most spectacular marine life in the world, including stunning hard and soft corals, striking tropical fish, majestic marine turtles, wide array of mollusks, crustaceans, rays, dolphins, and whales. It is also home to some of the most magnificent locations in Queensland. Number 20. Hit the cobblestone streets of Rome. Indulge your inner historian and take a trip to Rome. Explore all the ancient ruins turned beautiful Insta-ops like the Colosseum, the Pantheon, and the Trevi Fountain. Oh, and don't forget to treat yourself to some pizza deliciosa and gelato decadente. Stay tuned for the next Travel Wishlist edition, in which we will visit the top destinations to experience in 2022. Subscribe to our channel for more travel inspiration, and remember, time is travel.